This is The Art of Startup War, and I am your sensei, Brian McMahon. Now, in Season 1 and 2, I got inside the minds of startup investors. In Season 3, I brought in entrepreneurs to share their startup journey. Here, in Season 4, we combine both so you can hear investors critique the investment value proposition of individual companies. You're going to hear how investors make decisions to invest in startups, what makes a great entrepreneur, and how billion-dollar companies are built. So tune in every Tuesday, 10 a.m. on all the major platforms. You can empower your tribe by sharing the podcast, and remember to subscribe, rate, review, and leave us a comment. Good morning, it's Brian. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It is another beautiful day in entrepreneurship land. Today I am with Stefano, a good buddy of mine who is over from Italy, part of a fantastic Italian initiative where they've actually taken hundreds of their companies, only the best companies they have in the entire country, and sent them all around the world so that they can expand and change the world Italian style. Stefano, welcome.
Hi Brian, thank you, and welcome to Expert Dojo.
Yeah, and what I love about this is we're going to talk about renewable energy, we're going to talk about microcontrollers, we're going to talk about wind turbines, we're going to talk about making the world a better place through energy, right?
Yes.
And the world has never needed this more.
Yes, absolutely, Brian. Renewable energy is the energy of the future. We need that. We know that the world is demanding more and more energy for economy, for traveling, for everything. But we need to provide clean energy from renewable sources because, quite simply, the fossil sources are going to finish in quite a short time, in a couple of generations, maybe less. And there's a great problem of pollution, beside the climate change, which is still debated by some experts. But the pollution is not...
So we got terrible pollution, which everybody acknowledges. We have climate change, which pretty much everybody acknowledges. And then we also have the fact that we're running out of, we'll call it dirty energy anyway. So it doesn't really matter because there's going to come a time when our natural resources are pretty much used up.
Yes, and...
So what's the solution? So because... we've heard about renewable energy for a long time, and the challenge with renewable energy has not been that people don't want to use it. The challenge has mainly been that it's incredibly difficult to make it an efficient mode of energy.
Me and my collaborators, we started thinking about renewable energy, taking our feet on the ground without being, utopist. Dreaming is very good, but you don't have to forget that we live in this world, in this economic system.
You have to start in that place because otherwise you just get discounted, right? You have to walk in saying, we're going to create a renewable energy alternative, which is going to be a better option. And better can equal more efficient, and it can equal less expensive, or it can equal longer lasting. But it has to be one of those for people to take it seriously. It can't just be, it's better because you're helping your kids' kids. Because people don't react to that.
Yeah. It's as you said, and the main problems are technical, because we have a huge problem in storing energy. Mm-hmm. This affects particularly renewable energies, because the wind doesn't blow at the same speed always. During night you don't have sun, and the hydroelectric energy varies a lot depending on the rain. So unfortunately for us, the fossil energy, the fossil sources have a comparative advantage, as the economists say, because their production can be very constant during time. Can be
for as long as it lasts.
Yeah. For as long as it lasts, of course. And so this is a big technical problem that has to be solved. We don't have an answer, definitive answer to this solution. Otherwise, we'll be running for the Nobel Prize, I think. But pragmatically, we think that a temporary solution is to have smarter grids and a better distribution of energy.
So what you're insinuating by that is that the current grids, it's not so much that the energy is not a better solution, it's that the grids are more inefficient than they need to be.
Correct.
That there are opportunities to build a more efficient grid. And just before we go into the technical detail, like how much more efficiency are we talking about here? Are we talking like an extra 2% or 5%? Or how much more can you build?
No, much more, Brian. Actually, we calculated that for wind energy, the save can be 32%.
Incredible.
As an average, and even more if you consider the wind parks older than 10 years, with old wind turbines, which waste a lot of energy because they are old. And let me say another thing. The main waste of energy is created by the operational and maintenance activities, which oblige the producer to stop the production, to do repetitive and very expensive operation of maintenance. And the most important problem is that not only these costs are high, but they are not resolutive because they are made not in a predictive way. And here comes our solution.
Okay, very good. So help me understand a little bit the solution. So the grids are already there, and the grids are already being run by certain efficiencies and by certain technologies. Would you replace the technologies that are currently running the grids, or would your technology be an add-on technology?
No, in this first step,
and we're talking about wind technology, right? We're talking about wind turbines and more specifically microcontrollers within that.
We decided to address one problem at a time, as our grandmothers used to say. So one problem at a time. Wind energy.
It's like just for a minute there, you just put me back sitting with my grandmother. It's like, relax, one problem at a time. Okay, yeah,
but solve it. Okay, and then you come to the next problem. Yes, you said correctly. We addressed in this moment the wind energy problem. The wind turbines are losing a lot of energy. It's called the dispersion, and the cost of production of 1 megawatt per hour of wind energy, of energy derived by wind, is aggravated, is higher than it should be because of this operation and maintenance cost. So
so this dispersion. So everybody knows already about the dispersion. What are people doing right now to try and deal with it?
Well, right now they are acting. The companies producing energy from wind are acting in the opposite direction that they should.
Yeah.
Because they are they think that the problem is about having more and more powerful machines. So wind turbines are becoming higher and higher more and more powerful every day, every year. The latest one have a diameter of nearly 200 meters.
Wow.
And in fact, they are called the Titanus. But we think that this is not the solution. The wind turbines are becoming very big. You can imagine that in the space where there's the wind turbine, the engine, there is space for 15 people to stay there with the engine already put in. So it's like it's like an apartment. We think that this is not the solution. We think that the solution is a predictive analysis, so using artificial intelligence and machine learning to prevent the failures and breakdowns of the machines. And so in this way saving a lot of money, because you avoid the breakdowns and the disruptions of these machines.
Very good. And then your partner is the electronic genius, right? You're a pretty smart guy, but he's the builder, right?
I'm not.
He's your chief technology fellow.
My chief technical officer is an expert of software and artificial intelligence, and we have an agreement. My company has an agreement with an important university in Italy, Università di Tor Vergata, based in Rome, which is famous for computer science, and especially for artificial intelligence and machine learning. We realized that the problem cannot be addressed operating only on software, and so together with a predictive analysis, we want to create an innovative hardware. And so we created another agreement. We signed another agreement with a unit of hardware designers and hardware engineers. But it's not enough. It's not enough because we need the knowledge of electronic. And that's why we have an expert, a professor of the Università di Bologna, Bologna University, with a PhD in electronic engineering. And we have in my team there are also experts of the wind turbines. So we want to know how the machines really work, because each machine is a different world. So you cannot you cannot solve
You can't solve all of the different problems with the same solution, right?
Yeah. You need to know how these machines really work.
Building a strong team is vital in a case like this. So the problem that you're trying to solve is so enormous because it requires such massive brain power that building a really strong team around that is obviously been really important. And I know you're also making sure that you're surrounding yourself with some of the smartest people in the United States by breaking into the market here and really getting to understand how people feel about it. And it's been really interesting, actually. Almost from the first day that you arrived, the responses has been incredibly strong. Even when we went out to the Clean Tech Incubator, and they immediately liked you and felt that your products had tremendous potential going forward. And I think once you get that type of validation at the start, you know you're onto something powerful. I want to talk in a few minutes about how much money you're raising, what the journey in the United States is going to look like. But I want to talk about before that. Let's start with Italy and just your whole journey. When did this journey start? And just take me through the beginning portion of it, not the glamorous, beautiful, nice bit that you're at now, where everything's great and you're in Santa Monica and the sun is shining and everybody really likes what you're doing, but right at the beginning when everybody thought you were mad.
No, okay, we arrived on the 11th of July, but before that, me and the other guys applied to a tender promoted by the ICE. Let me tell you something about this important Italian institution. The ICE stands for Istituto per il Commercio Estero, so it's the Italian Trade Commission. okay, also called in English. They are, as the Latin used to say, the longamanus of our both foreign ministry affairs and Ministry for Economic Development.
Yep,
and in fact, they interact with those two, both these ministries, and they have branches, offices, literally all over the world. Wherever there's an Italian enterprise, there's a member of the Italian Trade Commission. They are very effective. And so they promoted this standard to help the little but innovative companies like us to get in more international and to exploit. It's the right word, to do the exploitation of the foreign markets. Italy is.
By the way, I can't say enough good things about what the Italian government are doing right now because I have perspective. I see countries all around the world, and I know that you only build great innovation within your country by really exploring outside your country what's being done really well. And the fact that they've taken so many great entrepreneurs and actually allowed them to go around the world is a phenomenal thing. It really is. And it will come back to bear fruit. I know it's just the first year and many things will be learned from it and it will improve and improve and improve and improve. But just the idea of doing this is so audacious that it sets them aside from almost every other country.
Yeah.
So well done, ITA and everybody else who's actually involved in doing this. You guys are doing a good job.
Yeah. Before coming here, we had to get through a very severe selection. At the beginning, we were 10,000, the 10,000 innovative enterprises registered in Italy, and then we reduced, and in the end, 82 of us were selected to participate to this program, to the second phase abroad in 6 different countries. And United States, of course, is a very big country, has offered more places, more locations to develop this project. One of that is in Los Angeles at Expert Dojo, and that's why we are here.
Boom, baby! We love having you here. This is great. This is why we're talking today. So yeah, it's a great thing, and I'm so happy that you're part of it. Because this is one of the really nice things about entrepreneurship. Like we fast forward 10 years in the future and suddenly renewable energy has become the favorite. It has become not just the option which has to be subsidized by the government, but it becomes the preferred option. And it's because of things that you've done that have actually changed the efficiency that's actually there. So I think it's a very, very exciting time right now.
Yeah.
But what about before? When did you have the idea?
I had the idea in 2017. I was in Spain, and I participated to a conference on renewable energy. I had the opportunity to meet some fantastic researchers and professors. I would like to thank in particular Professor Trujillo. These professors and researchers come from different universities, Spanish universities, and they made a research on renewable energies. Yeah. They published on a scientific review. And they addressed the problem, I think, from the right side. So they said, let's make the renewable energies in general, and especially wind energy, more profitable, less expensive, more continuous. Let's provide a continuous production. And in this case, in this way, the wind energy will become more and more efficient, economic efficient, okay, and will require less and less public incentives. Because one of the problems now is that with the economic crisis that some countries like Spain or Italy had in all over the world, there's a pressure from the public opinion to spend less on research, on innovation, to save occupation, to save employment in old polluting industries. So we have a conflict, which is a terrible conflict between occupation and so economic survival now and a better future. So this is a very bad choice, because when you have to choose between eating today or having a better planet for your sons and your grandsons, you are creating what we call an ethical problem that cannot be solved.
You are, but it's still challenging. But what's been the most difficult part of the journey for you so far? If you think back of like really hard moments that you didn't know if you could break through.
Well, beside the fact that I had to renounce to my favorite espresso, Italian coffee, because it's very hard here unless you spend.
Don't mess with the Italians and their coffee. I'm telling you, don't mess.
Okay. No, the hardest moment is that I came here with the intention to verify if there is a market, if there was a market, so to do a market validation, as you say, because in Italy, before coming here, I participated to many competitions. I won my company won some of them. In other cases, we reached the final or semifinals, and we discovered that our solution was appreciated in Italy too. But there are too many potential clients, too many potential customers. So we were incentivized, we were encouraged by the Italians themselves to see if there was the opportunity, an opportunity abroad. And they said, well, okay, let's go to the first market in the world. So if we find something interesting and somebody interested in the United States, then we start producing. Otherwise, let's change. Let's move to another project.
And what did you find?
I found, as you said, great interest about this idea. I found an economic system which is much more complex than the Italian one, and
that's true.
The entrepreneurs here are.
And that's actually a really good point for any entrepreneurs. Like I really like this show because rather than it just being Americans who are here, now our audience are getting to the feel for having other cultures and other countries here, and just seeing how entrepreneurs feel in those countries. And on one side of it, it's very reassuring because a lot of the things that you're doing and your needs and your wants and the development of the company are similar to entrepreneurs that Americans would be used to. But on the other side, what you start to realize is that countries are very, very different. And just because you can be successful in a country in America, it does not mean, Americans, that you can go over to Italy and be successful in Italy, because it's a very, very different country, and vice versa as well, right?
Very different countries. Yes, you are right. I will say in small words that Italians are much more accustomed to do the things on their own. The real entrepreneurs are very... beside for Italian Trade Commission abroad, we don't have very much help. You
don't have hundreds of investors or angel investors. Or
not only this, but also the banking system in Italy is under pressure from many sides, from many points of view, and the political system is in a big chaos, and
it's a little bit messy.
Okay, don't talk about that. So we needed to find, to find another solution. Of course, once you are here, you realize. Well, it's not my first time in the United States, but once you are here, you realize that you have to start again because the market is different, because people think in a different way, because some things that in Italy are important here are much less important, and vice versa. Other things here are very, very important in Italy aren't. So it took me some weeks to understand.
So what comes next? So I get it. You've come over here, you validated the product, you've validated the market, you've made sure that the audience liked it, you've built up your business plan, so you now have a really strong roadmap, you've built up your deck, so you've got something to go to investors with.
Yeah.
Number one, you're going to need money. And number two, you are then going to need to go and build, right? So let's talk about the money that you're going to need, and then let's talk about where that's going to take you, and then let's look at the build, and then let's look at the next steps after that.
Okay, yes. We are now collecting, we are now asking for $1 million. This money will be used to finish our test. We found 2 electric companies, both in Europe, which are interested, let's say, in do experimentation with us. So the first thing is to finish our prototype. I talk with my engineers every day, including Sunday, and I have to say I am optimist.
Yeah.
I think that the prototype will be ready soon. As soon as it's ready, we'll patent it, because we know that protection of intellectual property is important. And then we want to start tests. The tests have a cost, of course. This cost can be covered by the European Union, because
so this is interesting. So for investors who are listening here, how much funds is there the potential of from the European Union?
Well, the European Union is putting more and more money on innovation, and Europe is a manufacturing is a union of manufacturing economies. So we want to create the so-called Industry 4.0, and the new program called Horizon Europe has nearly 100 billion euros, not dollars, euros, so more than dollars, on innovation. And with this money, you can pay patents, you can pay tests, you can pay other things. So
is this matching money? So I asked this question for 2 groups of people. Number one, for investors who are listening, who are thinking, well, Brian, I don't know if I want to invest, because if I put $500,000 in, or 200,000 in, or $1 million, or whatever the number is, then how far will that go? So I want them to realize what the potential of matching funds, like what the expected European grant could be, and where that will take you, and then also would like for other people to realize, like, how do you even get a European grant?
Well, thank you for this question. With the new programs called, for example, SMEs integration that we are going to do on February, that's why we need the prototype and the patent before that. With this program, we could have 2.5 million.
So $2.5 million.
Yeah,
euros.
Euros. But
$3 million.
Yes. The problem is that
beautiful.
this doesn't cover 2 problems. First of all, the European Union doesn't give you this money, except for a small quota, doesn't give you this money in anticipation. So you need somebody to which anticipate this money for you. And the second thing is that usually they don't cover 100% of the total expenses. They cover the 80%. Okay, and if you do this project in poor areas of Europe with a special regulation, like south of Italy or Greece, and we want to do this project between south of Italy and Greece, you can have the 90%.
Beautiful.
And another thing,
and this is a lot of money. So there's a lot of people who don't know about government grants. So audience, start checking them out. This is important. Investors understand by investing in a company that's going for a European grant at the same time, then you can put 25% pretty much of the cost of what it's going to be and get 100% of the value without being diluted. So it's important.
Yes, because the European Union will, once the program is approved, will pay.
God bless them.
in a certain time. So you can go to the bank and ask for an anticipation, ask for a discount, paying only a very little percentage, because this is sure money. Once you have this paper, it's like having a check, having
Beautiful.
money. Oh, and let me add another thing. A big part of this money, let's say around the 40% of this money, is a grant, so doesn't have to give back.
No giving back, and also no equity. So it's very powerful. Sure. Now, I know we're getting a little bit tight on time, and I want to make sure everybody gets your details. And then I want you to finish, if we can, talking a little bit about if an investor were to invest in you, what's going to happen to this company? Like, I want you to picture in the future what the company is going to look like. So give your details first. Give your email, and then the web address and the name of the company as well. I realize I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I'm gonna help you draw the picture.
The company is called NIDES, NIDES.
Okay. And the website
is an innovative startup. The website is www.nidessoftware.com.
Perfect.
It's in Italian and English. And my email account is s.amoroso, AMOROSO, at NIDESoftware, NIDSoftware.com.
So that's all the contact details.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to paint a picture for investors.
Sure.
You're looking in the future at what NIDES is going to be. It is 3 years in the future. I want to know how much money has been invested in NIDES. I want to know where it's been implemented, and I want to know how much revenue you're making.
Well, our dreams are big, higher, much higher than the wind energy field sector itself. So we want to become, dear Brian, the first company producing intelligent microcontroller, because we talked so far about software, machine learning and artificial intelligence. But our real invention, our innovation, my personal invention, is a new microcontroller, which is a specific type of semiconductor and a microprocessor. These microcontrollers are becoming more and more important in many fields, like automotive, healthcare devices, and IoT.
And this is what's going to drive the efficiencies.
Yes,
within
in many
turbine.
fields.
Yeah.
So we say to the investors, in the wind energy field, there is a huge demand of a solution which is smart, efficient, not expensive, simple to deploy, because we didn't go deep into the description of this solution, but I just want to say that our solution will not substitute the existing solutions, which are not predictive. So the company won't have to educate again their technicians, won't have to close everything for weeks and changing all their computers, softwares, nothing.
It just adds on
that.
top.
Just add, okay, an overlay. Okay, very, very simple.
Beautiful.
Very simple. Our microcontrollers are intelligent. They are able to exchange data in a fraction of a second with our unit of artificial intelligence, and so they are able to do many things: to stop the production, to change the speed of the wind turbines, many things.
Yeah.
Okay, in real time. So before that, the bad things happen. This principle can be applied to many sectors. So, for example, automotive, healthcare, and we want to.
So, what's the company going to be worth, though? Let's finish it with how much revenue do you think the company is going to bring in 3 years' time, fully deployed, running the way it should be? And you can say 5 years if you want, but like 3 years is easier.
Well, we think.
And then what do you think the value of the company is going to be? And you're only guessing on the value because we're not giving.
Sure.
We're not giving a prediction of
We think that there's a space among, let's say, the 15 millions of microcontrollers which are produced now in this moment and are sold all over the world. We think that there's a space right now for our intelligent microcontroller, a small niche which will grow in the future. So we think, being prudent, that we can have a revenue in 3 years. We can revenues total profit, let's say, of between 15 and 25 million.
Okay, well, that's not too shabby. There's the number. That's what I was looking for. So that's where I want to leave it. Look, Stefano, you're building something great. It's in the renewable energy space. It's helped making the planet a better place. You're doing it in a really smart way and by bringing proper intelligence into these systems rather than having them as dumb terminals. I think it's awesome what you're doing. Everybody out there, you know how to contact them if you're in the energy space at all and you're interested in collaborating and helping NIDES enter into the United States and become the kind of company it's going to be. Great. If you're an investor, you know how to contact them as well. And if not, or if so, you've enjoyed another episode over at Expert Dojo at the Art of Startup War. Stefano, thanks, buddy. It's great having you.
And let me say just the final thing. Our motto is affordable and smart. And that's what we want to, how we want to be. You know, we want to create products which are smart, but that are affordable for many entrepreneurs, especially the small and medium entrepreneurs who cannot afford, usually cannot afford a huge lot of expenses for research and development. And we think, we know that research and innovation is becoming more and more important in everything.
It's the future. It's everything. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
It's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. If you love the podcast, please empower your circle by sharing these stories. The Art of Startup War is brought to you by Expert Dojo. And remember, we invest in startups, $50,000 checks. Make sure you apply on our site if you are one of those great entrepreneurs looking to bring your company to the next level. As far as the Art of Startup War is concerned, we are back every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. So remember, check out the new episodes. If you want to find out what the investors think, check out season 1 or 2. But make sure you join us every single week.